Hello everyone, welcome to the video series of effectively configuring salary components for your organization in Zoho Payroll. We will start this series by exploring the majorly used salary components which are associated with the majority of employees across the organization. They are basic, house rent allowance, and fixed allowance. Firstly, we will start with the basic component. A basic component is a primary salary component of an employee, comprising of approximately 40 to 60% of the CTC. It is a fixed amount that is paid to the employees every month, along with any bonus, overtime, or allowances. This amount is fully taxable. Basic component in Zoho Payroll is already inbuilt, as this is one of the widely used salary components. Log into your Zoho Payroll account, navigate to Settings, Salary Components, Basic. Click the three-dotted icon and click Edit. Here, you will be able to configure the earning name and name in the payslip as per your choice. After which, you will be able to select the calculation type of the component. We have provided you with two options, flat amount or a percentage of CTC. Choose one according to your organization and enter the value below. On the right side, you can see the other configurations which are pre-enabled according to the government norms applied for the basic component. Now, mark the component active to associate this component in your employee salary structure. Now, how to create a duplicate basic component, for an example, stipend. To create a duplicate basic component and associate that component with an employee, navigate to Settings, Salary Components, Add Component, Earning, Earning Type, Basic, then configure the component according to your need and mark it as active. Once the component has been marked active, it will appear under Employees. Select an employee, Salary Structure, Basic in the drop-down. Pro tips. Basic salary component is a fixed component of an employee's salary package and it is paid regularly, usually monthly. This component is fully taxable. Basic salary component generally subject to statutory deductions such as taxes, social security contributions, and other deductions mandated by law. The calculation type has to be mentioned while doing a bulk import. In case of multiple basic, mark the inactive basic as 0 during bulk import. House rent allowance. House rent allowance is a significant element on the employee salary structure. It represents the sum that an employer gives to their employees to cover the expense of living in a rented property. It is usually set at 40% or 50% of basic salary based on where your workplace is located. Your employees can claim tax deductions for this component by declaring their house rent details at the beginning of the financial year. They would also have to submit the necessary supporting documents such as rent agreement or rent receipt. Being one among the widely used salary components, house rent allowance is also pre-configured in Zoho Payroll for you to use it with ease. Log into your Zoho Payroll account, navigate to Settings, Salary Components, House rent allowance. Here, you will be able to configure the earning name and name in payslip as per your choice. Also, select the calculation type of the component, choose one according to your organization and enter the value below. The other configurations are pre-enabled according to the government norms applied for the house rent allowance. Now, mark the component as active to add this component in your employee salary structure. Pro tips. House rent allowance in India is mostly calculated on the percentage of employees' basic salary. House rent allowance is tax deductible under Section 10(13)(a) of the Income Tax Act, subject to certain conditions. The tax exemption on house rent allowance is calculated as the minimum of the following: actual HRA received, 50% of the basic salary for those living in metro cities, or 40% of the basic salary for those living in non-metro cities. Actual rent paid in excess of 10% of basic salary. Fixed allowance. Fixed allowance is a component whose behavior and calculation which differs organization to organization. In Zoho Payroll, fixed allowance is a residual component used to compensate the balance amount between the actual CTC and the sum of the individual component's value entered in the employee's salary details. Fixed allowance component is automatically activated in Zoho Payroll when there is a balance amount between the actual CTC and the value entered in the employee's salary details. The system automatically compensates the amount under fixed allowance. Please note that fixed allowance cannot be disabled. You will have to distribute the amount in CTC to other components accordingly in order to make fixed allowance zero. Now we'll see few used cases and the errors which occurs while configuring fixed allowance in Zoho Payroll. The system calculated fixed allowance cannot be less than 0. When this error occurs, kindly distribute the amount in CTC to other components accordingly in order to make the fixed allowance 0. The monthly CTC amount differs from the sum of the individual components by +1. When this error occurs, kindly increase the CTC value by 12 to round off the overall calculation. The monthly CTC amount differs from the sum of the individual components by -1. When this error occurs, kindly decrease the CTC value by 12 to round off the overall calculation. Pro tips. Fixed allowance is fully taxable. Employee Provident Fund contribution cannot be chosen as always under fixed allowance configuration. Fixed allowance cannot be disabled. We have come to the end of this video. We hope this video was informative to you on learning and exploring about the majorly used salary components such as basic, house rent allowance and fixed allowance and its working in Zoho Payroll. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Click the bell icon to get further updates from us. Thank you.